and welcome to episode 11 of the Catherine Crochets podcast. Hello, my name's Catherine. I'm a crochet designer from South London, and this is my podcast where I talk about all things crochet. This is the third time I've tried to start this podcast now, so I'm really hoping it's third time lucky and it doesn't all go strange again. How are you all? I hope you're all well. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're a returning viewer, thank you for coming back. It really means a lot to me, and if you're brand new, it's lovely to have you dropping by, and I do hope you enjoy this podcast. Please, if you do, subscribe to my channel, like the podcast, and if you'd like to leave a comment and have a chat, that would be absolutely lovely. It is quite a busy time of year at the moment, isn't it? I don't know about you, but things really seem to be ramping up in terms of getting ready for Christmas. There's lots of things going on at school that the girls are involved in, that we keep getting asked to send bits and bobs in. Today is Mufti Day. They can wear their own clothes, so that was quite straightforward. But then they also had to bring in a donation for the school Christmas fair, and one of the things they could take in was a bottle of anything for the bottle stall. We realised this yesterday evening, and we could only find one suitable bottle in the house. So fortunately my husband was on his way back from work and could stop off at a shop and pick something up. But everything seems quite a rush at the moment, and last minute fitting everything in, but we're getting there. There's lots more things planned, so I just need to make sure everything's on the calendar and that everybody gets to the right place where they're supposed to be at the right time, and we send them in with the right bits and bobs. But there's various Christmas poetry, assembly, a couple of nativities, a music concert, and a Christmas fair, and other bits and bobs coming up. So it's a really busy but fun time here, and hopefully we all get to the end of it without succumbing to a terrible cold or something. So have you started any Christmas makes at the moment? I have started a couple, well, one really, which I'm going to show you later, and another one which I'm actually going to put on hold and not finish until the new year. But I like making Christmas gifts for people, but only if I'm pretty sure that they'll be appreciated, because I do think it's quite hard to tell sometimes whether people will really like what you give them. So I tend to not make loads. Also, I'm really bad at leaving it till the last minute, and I do see things I'd like to make, but no, I just not have time to do them. So that's another reason why I tend to only make a few. But if I were more organised and started earlier, then perhaps I'd get more done. But I don't make that many. Sometimes I make some decorations, which can be quite nice because they can be quite quick, and then you've just got something new to hang on the tree or put up. So if I have time close to Christmas, I might make one or two new things to hang on the tree, but we'll see. So a few things to talk about. First thing I want to say before I forget is that I have got a sale on at the moment, and there's 20% off all my patterns in my Etsy and Ravelry shops until the end of November. You don't need a code. The discount is already applied. On Etsy, it displays it on the store when you're browsing with the discounted price. On Ravelry, I think when you're looking at the patterns, it just shows you the normal price, but then if you add a pattern to your basket, it will show you the discount. So just to be aware of that, if you're looking on Ravelry and wondering what the price is, you won't see the discount, the 20% reduction, until after you add a pattern to your basket. So if you're interested in getting any, there's some small Christmassy ones that you could make before Christmas, cushions, table runners, that sort of thing, a few shawls, or there's bigger blankets, which would be great to work on over the winter into the new year. If there's anything that takes your fancy, have a look around, and you can get it with 20% off at the moment. Next thing to say is to announce the winner of the competition in my last podcast. So thank you so much to everyone who entered. If you didn't see it, in my last podcast, it was episode number 10. So I decided to run a giveaway to celebrate reaching 10 episodes, which felt like a bit of a mini milestone. And all you had to do to enter was to leave a comment saying the prize was to win a copy of any of my patterns that you'd like, and so you just had to say which pattern you'd like if you won. So I used a random comment selector to choose the winner, and I'll pop it up on the screen, the result of that selection, so you can see. So the winner was, the username was Merged in Self. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, so apologies if that's not right. And Merged in Self said that if they won, they would choose either the Clarissa or the Midnight Diamond blanket pattern. So if that's you and you're watching this, please send me an email to let me know your email address and which pattern you would like. If it's one of those that you mentioned, or if you changed your mind, you'd like a different one, that's absolutely fine. Just let me know which one you'd like and I'll email it over to you. I'll also reply to your comment on the last video, just in case you don't see this one for a while. So hopefully you'll get a notification of my reply to your comment as well. And my email address is catherinecrochets@gmail.com, and you can find it if you go to my channel page on YouTube. You can find it in the About section if you go to the About tab, if you want to just check that you're typing it correctly. So congratulations, and yeah, just let me know which one you'd like and I'll send that over to you straight away. Right, on with the crochet. I've got 4 things to show you today, 1 finished item and 3 whips. So the first is a finished item, which those of you who saw my last podcast, you might be able to guess what that is already. It is my Revival jumper, which I'm wearing, and it was so close to being finished last time. You can't see it all, and what I'll do is in a moment I'll move the camera back and stand up. But last time I'd done all of it apart from the ribbing at the bottom. So I did that, I think it was the same day, or might have been the next day after my last podcast. I had made some, but it was a bit too long. So I remade it shorter so that it would pull in the bottom of the jumper, and I also made it a bit deeper as well, just to give it a bit of extra length. And I spoke quite a lot about this jumper last time and about its length and sort of adjustments I made, so I won't go over all of that again now, but I'm just going to move the camera back so that you can have a better view of the whole thing. So here's the whole thing. So last time, yeah, it was down to about here, and all I've done is added on the ribbing, and I'm really pleased with how it turned out. So last time, I don't know if you remember, but this bit without the ribbing on, it was sort of hanging out and gaping quite a lot, but now I've put the ribbing on, it does pull it in nicely and the fit is much better. In hindsight, if I were making it again, I would have done an extra row of granny squares just to make it a bit longer, but apart from that, I'm really happy with it. The sleeves possibly a little bit too long, but I've been turning up the cuffs and actually I quite like them. It's nice and cozy. It's yeah, really cozy jumper. Really happy with how it turned out. I think it fits quite well over the shoulders, and yeah, pleased with how the collar turned out as well. I'll sit back down. Yeah, so super happy with this one, and this is the 3rd thing I've made for myself, and I'm finding crocheted for myself to wear, and I'm finding each time I make something, I'm learning a lot, and they're getting a little bit better each time. So the first thing I made, which was a few years ago now, was the Sunday Fun Day. I think it's Sunday Fun Day cardigan by Iron Lamb, which was great, but I didn't check my tension, my gauge, and I think I do crochet looser than most crochet designers, it seems, because I ended up with a massive cardigan, and it's just, I don't wear it that much, partly because the colour, I did it in Starcraft Special Storm Blue, and as much as I love that colour, it doesn't actually look as good on me, a whole cardigan in that colour, as I hoped or thought. So I should get it out and wear it a bit more though, because it is a really nice cozy cardigan, but it was much bigger than I'd planned. So if I made it again, I would make it either with a smaller hook, or I'd make a smaller size, something like that. And then the other thing I made was the gauze sweater, which I've shown on here before, which was absolutely lovely, but again it did end up a little bit bigger than I was hoping for. It's fine, but it's just a bulky, maybe not bulky is the right word, but it's quite a loose, chunky jumper, and I do like them quite fitted. But that's still getting worn. So this one is a better fit, but I should have thought about the length a bit more and made it longer. So next time up, hopefully I'll get the fit spot on, but never know, there might be something else that's an issue. And I don't think I mentioned, but this is a pattern by Heather at HG Designs Crochets, if you want to get hold of it. And all of the patterns and things that I mentioned today, I should say that they'll be in the show notes. So if you look underneath the podcast, there'll be a link to the show notes, which I put in my blog, so you can find everything there. And if I've missed anything out, or you've got any comments, questions, sorry, just let me know and I can point you in the right direction. But hopefully there should be a link for all the different patterns that I show you and talk about today. We've got a storm coming in apparently this weekend, and it's just got really wet and grey and dark outside. We've had some quite cold weather recently, but it's been bright and sunny at the same time. But now it's not quite so cold, but it's grey and wet. The rain's just started and windy, so hopefully it won't be too bad this weekend. Right, what's next? So I'll show you this one next, I think. This is the Juniper jumper that I've been making for my daughter, and I've shown it on here. I've talked about it, I think, definitely more than once. And I started making this, it was her birthday in September. She turned 11, and about 6 days before her birthday, I decided I wanted to crochet her something. And I had a look around and I found the Juniper jumper pattern and thought, yeah, she'd absolutely love that. So I started it and very soon realised there was absolutely no way I was going to get it done in 6 days, partly because I could only work on it. I work during the week, and so I could only work on it for maybe an hour an evening when she was in bed. So there was no way I was going to be able to get it made in time. So I decided to put it on hold and thought I'd make it for Christmas. But again, I've still only been able to work on it when she's not around. But I have made quite a lot more progress. So I think last time I showed it to you, there might have been the ribbing at the bottom and 1 or 2 rows of bobbles, something like that. So, but now I've finished, I haven't sewn in any ends. I've got that joy to come, but I finished the whole of, this is the back. I'm making it in size, it's either size 9 to 10 or 10 to 11, I'm not sure. She's 11, but she's a sort of a slight, maybe a little bit smaller than average 11-year-old. So I do absolutely love this design there. I think these bubbles are absolutely fabulous, and I do think it's very her, and she's really gonna like it. But I'm not going to get it done in time for Christmas. I think I knew that. And also because, well, I could finish this one actually for Christmas, but I don't want it to give it to her until I've got a second one made for my other daughter as well, which should be slightly quicker because I'm going to make it in the next size down, one size smaller. I'll show you the colours I've chosen for that. I'll go open them actually. It took me a while to choose, and I debated making it in the same colours, but I decided to go different. So she's going to have this blue, which is Shape Piece Colour Crafter in that Alkmaar colourway. So her jumper's going to be blue with the same colour cream bubbles as her sister. And it was a hard decision really, because I did have some ideas for some maybe going for like a grey, but then like a bright neon pink or yellow bubble or something for her. But then I didn't want to make her jumper loads more, I don't know, fun than this one, and then be upset about who got which jumper. So I decided to go for a similar sort of style of colours. So hopefully they'll both be happy with what they get, and they'll like the blue. She'll like the blue with the cream bubbles as well. And to be honest, well, it all depends what happens and how well it lasts, but she might end up getting this one as well when her sister grows out of it. Although older sister does like to hang on to her clothes for a very long time. She gets quite attached to them and doesn't like to give them up and pass them on. So her little sister's often like, that's 3 years too small for you, why can't I have it yet? But she does get quite attached to her clothes, which is fun. Can be quite funny. Occasionally she's put on old Christmas jumpers which are way too small for her, and then gets stuck and can't get them off again and needs help to get them off. So I think she is learning that she does outgrow her clothes, but she still finds it quite hard to give them up and pass them on if she's particularly liked an item. Yeah, so that was going to be, potentially was going to be a Christmas present for them, but because I can only do it in secret, it's not. It's going to have to be give to them in the new year. But I think this one, I checked my gauge and I've made it to exactly the same size as the pattern. It tells you to just you work from the bottom up to keep making these rows of bubbles until it measures, I think, 52 centimetres, something like that. And so I got to that spot on. So I know this is exactly the right size that the pattern suggests for the size I'm making, age 10 or 10 to 11 or something. But it still looks quite big to me for her. So I think it will be quite it's not going to be a tight jumper. So hopefully, even if I don't get it to her till January or February, she'll still be able to wear it for quite a while. She'll get a good year or two's wear out of it, hopefully. So that is something that because it's not going to be ready for Christmas, I decided I'd make them each something smaller for Christmas. So I'm going to put this one on hold for now, for a while I finish what I'm making them for Christmas now, which I'll show you in a moment. And then hopefully I'll be able to come back to it soon. So I'm trying to prioritise their makes in the evening when they've gone to bed, and not do anything else then, and do my other projects at times when they're awake. That's the plan at least, although sometimes I get distracted by something else and work on something I'm not supposed to be working on at that time. But that's the plan at least. So the thing that I've decided to make for them instead of the jumpers for Christmas each is a pair of mittens, which I thought would be much more manageable. And the mittens I've gone for, which I've been looking at for a few days now and admiring, is the Heckler mittens by Heckler, and they use mosaic crochet. So I started making a pair yesterday, and I have to say they're a really, really good stash busting pattern, because if you have a look at the design, the pattern, or like Tina's page, or the pattern, or the hashtag, or whatever, because lots of other people are making them, you can do them in so many different amazing colorways, and you can use just 2 colors, or you could use lots of different colors. There's so many variations you could make. So I started these yesterday, and I raided my DK acrylic stash to make them. And this is the pair I've started. Well, it's only one, it's not a pair yet, is it? Ooh. And so the plan was, which might be changing, was the green cuff, then turquoise for the main colour of the mitten, and then having this sort of corally coloured zigzag. Then there's going to be a petrol blue zigzag, and then I think there would be another coral zigzag and a thumb. So I'm making these in size small. I think there's either 4 or 5 different sizes. I can't remember how many. There's extra small, small, and then I think there's 2 more sizes. But I didn't do a swatch or anything before I started, and it's quite funny in the pattern actually, because the designer Tina, there's a point where she said if you're much bigger at this point, she tells you how to adjust it to make it the right size for what you're making, so you don't have to frog on. It's like a checkpoint. And she says something like, oh, of course this won't be the case because you'll all have made swatches, so you won't have this issue, but I know that won't be the case anyway, so this is what to do if you haven't done a swatch, which I know you haven't, haha, something like that. Anyway, it was very funny, I thought, because it was totally true. I just dived straight in and started making it. And this was, so extra small was supposed to be to fit really young children, small to fit children, older children, about the age of my children, or even a bit older actually. So mine are 7 and 11. I think small was supposed to fit like age 8 to 10 or 10, I don't know. Anyway, it was about right. So I thought I'll go for small. So I did it with the right hook, but I did it with a DK yarn. And I think the yarn that the pattern calls for is actually a sport weight yarn, which could have been the problem. But it's working up really big. So I think these actually, looking at them, would quite likely, they'd fit me really, wouldn't they? Look, like the wrist is the perfect size for me. It was only slightly bigger than what it said it should have been for the small when I got to that checkpoint. But the pattern says there should be another zigzag before you do the opening for the thumb, and then there's a bit, and then there'll be another zigzag over the fingers, so it might even be too big for me. So now I'm torn between whether or not to, I think I'm going to go ahead and finish it, but I think these all fit me, so it's not really a great start on my Christmas gift making if they only fit me, really, is it? But hey ho, it's a learning curve. So what I'm either then got 2 options. I can either then make the extra small using DK acrylic yarn, which I've got loads of, which I think is probably what I will do for the girls, or I have got some sport weight yarn which I won a few years ago. Someone was doing a giveaway on Instagram, and I was lucky enough, my name got picked, and I've got this durable cozy extra fine yarn. I've got a whole tub of it, and it's this whole tub full of it. So there's loads of different colours. It's a cotton acrylic mix. It's 58% cotton, 42% acrylic. So it is quite soft, but it's not quite as sort of woolly as an acrylic or a wool would be. So I'm in 2 minds about whether or not to use this to make a pair of mittens. Let me know what you think. Oh, I had another question I must remember to ask you in a moment actually. But yeah, I don't know if I might give it a go, because I have a feeling that even if I make the extra small pattern I could go down a hook size, couldn't I? And use a DK acrylic still, but it might be quite tight and dense. I might try that. I might try the extra small with a smaller hook size and then see if that's about the right size for my girls, because I think even this small with the DK and the hook size specified the pattern with my tension, I think it's still going to be a bit, might even be a bit big for me. So I might have to have a play around and see which combination of hook and yarn and pattern size works out correct for the girls. But I'm thinking, I mean, it's quite good really if they do need the extra small, or if I can get the extra small to work for them, because obviously it's going to be a lot quicker to make than the bigger sizes, because it'll have fewer stitches. So yeah, I think I'll try the extra small first with a smaller hook size and see how that works out. And I've got loads and loads of colours to choose from, and last night I couldn't get to sleep because I was just thinking and imagining different colour combinations. I think what I'd quite like to do is a pair with this dark blue as the background and a kind of golden yellow for the zigzag. I think that might look quite nice. Anyway, I really absolutely love this pattern, and like I said, I keep thinking of different colour combinations. You can go for brights. There's some really nice ones I've seen where they've got kind of use dull greys or browns for the background and then brighter colours for the stripes, which also looks really nice. Or you could just go for use 2 colours for the whole thing. So I quite like using more colours, and it's really, really good stash busting. So I think I might be making quite a few of these. Really well written pattern, loads of detail and explanation, so I would really recommend that. So hopefully next time I podcast, I will have a whole bundle of mittens to show you. And the other thing is you can make them, the pattern shows you how to make it into, you can either make it fingerless, so you just make the thumb hole and it goes up to sort of about there, in which case I'm sort of nearly there on this one, I just have one more zigzag to do. Or you can make it into a complete enclosed mitten, which I think I will do, but I could make myself a fingerless pair as well. So really excited about that, and I think they'll make really good Christmas gifts. And the other good thing is, if they don't like them, then you haven't spent too long making them, and they're a really good way. I keep looking over there because I've got a whole pile of all my DK stash that I've just been rooting through to choose what to make it with. But yeah, really good stash busting pattern, that one, so I definitely recommend it. And I didn't know when I bought it on Ravelry yesterday. It was on, because like I was saying, Ravelry doesn't show you if there's a discount on the price, and when I added it to my basket there was a discount applied to it, so it was on, yes, I don't know how long that'll be there for, but yesterday at least that pattern was on sale, so if you're quick you might be able to get it with that discount as well. Just have a bit more tea. Oh, it's getting cold. Right, so the other thing that I was going to ask you, which I just remembered while I was talking to you about those gloves, was going back to this Juniper pattern. So the pattern, I'm in 2 minds about this. I've got a while to think about it obviously now, but the pattern has, which I might show you a picture on the screen just so you can see, that in the pattern you have these bubbles all over the sleeves as well. And I'm wondering whether it would still look good if I just did plain sleeves. Part of the reason this is taking so long is because it's all made with double crochet stitches, or single crochet in US terms. So it does take quite a while to work up, and I'm wondering to sort of speed things up a bit and make sure it's not summer by the time I finish them, if I do the sleeves just plain double crochet instead of with the bubbles. What do you think? Would that look okay, having a bubbly jumper and plain sleeves? I think it probably would, but I'm not sure if I'm missing something and it might look a bit sort of, I don't know, vesty or something. I'd be really grateful if you let me know what you think. Do you think it would still look good without the bubbles on the sleeves? And also, I don't know if they'll like catch on stuff if they're on their sleeves all the time, and especially with it being cream, if you know, if they're leaning on the table, would they get messy and dust stuck on them? So it might be better that way as well, just to have a plain sleeve. So I'm really tempted to do that, but if you think that's a terrible idea and there's some reason that I've not thought of why I shouldn't do that, let me know. But yeah, there'll be a while before I go on to sleeves anyway, so I've got a while to think about that. But I'm thinking, yeah, I might not put all the sleeves just to save a bit of time. Right, where are we? Okay, one more thing to show you, which is the last thing, which is a new cowl. There's not much to show yet, but obviously it won't be massive when it's finished anyway. But this is a new cowl I've started making, and it is tapestry crochet design, same all the way around obviously. I'll put it on sofa to show you. Ooh. Wait, it doesn't really work with a big collar, but anyway, that's the idea. So it's going to end up, this section will be at least twice as high, probably about twice as high. And then I think I'm going to do it in the blue, and it's going to have a ribbed section along the top and along the bottom with a patterned bit in the middle. So I'm really like this, quite pleased with how this is turning out. And I'm also, you can't see the whole pattern, what it's going to look like yet. It's a bit more to it than what you can see, but I really like this pattern, and so I'm thinking actually I could use it in lots more other things besides just this cowl. So I might make, you know, could make a blanket, cushions, scarf, don't know if even a hat, if I could figure out how to get it. So try it on. It's a bit big, isn't it? But yeah, you could have a hat with a ribbed rim going up with this pattern on. So yeah, this is quite quick and hopefully should be finished soon. And if it weren't for the fact that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 patterns waiting to be written up, I'd say this one would be written up really soon, but it all depends really on how quickly I get on with the other ones as well. I really need to just, trouble is I've got so many things I want to make at the moment, and I do prefer the making to the pattern writing, that I always get on with the making instead of the pattern writing. But it gets a bit ridiculous where you make and design and make something, and then I shouldn't really just keep starting the new projects without having actually written up the previous designs, because there's no point designing and making it. You know, if you're a crochet designer, if you don't actually write up the pattern, then no one else can make it, can they? Anyway, this one it'll be finished soon. Whether or not the pattern's out before Christmas, I'm not sure. The yarn I'm using for this is West Yorkshire Spinners Bo Peep Pure, which is a DK 100% Falkland Islands wool. And I used this yarn in different colours when I made the Rowan leaf wrap, which I made a year or 2 ago for Crochet Now magazine. And I was really surprised when I don't use wool yarn that often. When they said they'd chosen a wool yarn for it, I thought it might be quite itchy, but it's really, really smooth, smoother than most acrylics really, I think. A bit sort of, not as smooth as cotton obviously, but it's sort of heading that way, and it gives really nice stitch definition. So I think it's going to give like the coziness of wool, but also without the fuzz, and it gives good stitch definition. So I'm really, really pleased with that. The only thing I would say is it's a lovely yarn, but there's not a massive number of colours in the range. You can get cream and blue. You can also get, I've got a little bit of the green left over from when I made the Rowan leaf wrap, which is a nice colour too. I think they've got a sort of grapey purple colour and maybe a kind of a mustardy yellow. There might be a grey, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's not a massive range of colours. But yeah, that's the last thing that I've been working on. And also I've nearly finished a blanket commission, which I've been working on for a magazine. Just got the last, it's a massive square blanket, and I've just got, I think, 3 more rounds to go on that. So I'm hoping I'll get that done this weekend, and then I'm going to have a blitz and get the patterns written up that are waiting to be written up. One I did start yesterday, so with a bit of luck that might be 2 of them are from a magazine, so they won't come out until the magazine comes out, but with a bit of luck the other 2, or at least one of them, will be ready to release before the next podcast, fingers crossed. Right, let me see what next. I think that's about it really. So I've been filming these podcasts every 2 weeks recently, I think the last few, and I'm hoping I should be able to fit in one more now before the girls break up for the Christmas holidays, and then I'll probably have a bit of a break over Christmas. I don't know if I'll have a chance to film during the Christmas holidays, so I'll probably have one more podcast in a couple of weeks, and then the next one after that will be in January. I've got, like I was saying, I've got a shawl. I'm hoping to release one shawl pattern before or at the next podcast. And I've also got a pattern from a magazine, if you remember it, the Gunter blanket, which came out in August, which I can release in December, and I can't remember the exact date. I have to wait 4 months, so I'll definitely be releasing it before Christmas, but whether or not it's in as soon as 2 weeks, I think it might be a little bit longer than that. But if it's not, then I'll talk about that in the next podcast as well. And that's about it really. So thank you very much for joining me again and watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been lovely chatting to you and talking to you about all my whips, and I hope you have a great 2 weeks. And if you're making Christmas presents, good luck. I hope you get them all done in time, and let me know what you're making as well. I'd love to hear of any ideas of things that you're making for gifts or quick Christmas decorations, that sort of thing. Not that I need any more projects, but it's always good to be inspired, isn't it? So have a lovely day, a great weekend, and thanks for watching. Bye.